Hey world! 44 facts about our 44 presidents in 4 minutes. Let's go! George Washington is credited as having introduced the mule to America. John Adams married Abigail Smith Adams, his third cousin. Thomas Jefferson had a pet mockingbird that would often ride on his shoulder. Its name was Dick. James Madison, despite being the father of the Constitution, was short, frail, arthritic, and sickly. He never weighed more than 100 pounds. James Monroe was the first president to ride on a steamboat. John Quincy Adams went skinny dipping in the Potomac River almost every day. After Richard Lawrence attempted and failed to assassinate President Andrew Jackson proceeded to beat Lawrence with his cane. The commonly used term okay came from President Martin Van Buren, whose nickname was Old Kinderhook. After giving a painfully long inaugural address in the rain, William Henry Harrison got sick and died just a month after becoming president. He was survived by his pet goat named His Whiskers. John Tyler had 15 children. James K. Polk banned music and dancing from White House parties while he was president. Zachary Taylor died while in office from eating too many cherries and drinking too much milk. Millard Fillmore was the last Whig Party president. He also has a pretty cool name. While president, Franklin Pierce was arrested for running over an old woman with his horse. James Buchanan, many believe, was gay. Seriously. Abraham Lincoln and his wife, Mary Todd, were known to hold seances in the White House. Andrew Johnson, while being inaugurated as vice president for Abraham Lincoln, was noticeably drunk off of whiskey. Ulysses S. Grant had for breakfast every morning a cucumber soaked in vinegar. Rutherford B. Hayes won the presidency by just 1 electoral vote. James Garfield juggled clubs while in office in order to build muscle. Chester Arthur was known to change pants several times a day. Grover Cleveland named his favorite hunting rifle Death and Destruction. Benjamin Harrison got the nickname Kid Gloves because he wore children's gloves. Grover Cleveland is the only president to have ever served 2 non-consecutive terms. He's both our 22nd and our 24th president. William McKinley's wife couldn't stand the color yellow, so during his presidency, all yellow things were removed from the White House. Teddy Roosevelt coined the phrase, "good to the last drop." Despite weighing over 300 pounds, William Howard Taft was a good dancer, tennis player, and an average golfer. While president, Woodrow Wilson had a flock of sheep on the White House lawn. His favorite was named Old Ike, who liked to chew tobacco. Warren Harding had the biggest feet out of any of our presidents. He wore a size 14 shoe, which is the same size that I wear. Calvin Coolidge was notoriously quiet. When informed by a White House dinner guest that a bet had been made that they could get Coolidge to say more than 2 words, Coolidge's only reply was, "You lose." Herbert Hoover required White House servants to be invisible. Whenever he or his wife entered the room, they were to hop into the nearest closet to avoid being seen. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was elected to 4 terms. That's twice as many as any other president. The S in Harry S. Truman doesn't stand for anything. His middle name is just S. Dwight Eisenhower's favorite dessert was prune whip. John F. Kennedy's right leg was 3/4 of an inch longer than his left. Lyndon Johnson's favorite soda was Fresca, that weird grapefruit stuff. He liked it so much that he had a Fresca fountain installed in the White House. When Richard Nixon was re-elected, the only state that he lost was Massachusetts. Upon graduating from college, Gerald Ford turned down offers to play football for the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. Jimmy Carter only has 1 testicle. Ronald Reagan was the first president to have ever worn a Nazi uniform. Although it's actually not all that exciting, he just wore it when he was an actor. Upon declaring his hatred for broccoli, George H.W. Bush was shipped 10 tons of it from California broccoli farmers in protest. When just 8 years old, Bill Clinton was mauled by a sheep. George W. Bush choked on a pretzel while in office, and while it knocked him unconscious, fortunately it did not kill him, because we wouldn't want Dick Cheney to have been president. And Barack Obama has read every single Harry Potter book. Rate, comment, favorite, peace out.
If you like what you just saw, if Dan put you in a state of awe, subscribe to him and click the orange button. It really means something. If you do that, that'd be really cool.